on Clearing the Clutter Inside and Out, we're talking about kids' paperwork and art. Is your paperwork organized or is it a hot mess? Are you overwhelmed with all the art projects your kids bring home? Would you like to control paperwork and display artwork to have peace of mind? Learn tips to declutter and organize paperwork and art as we continue our month focusing on fall.
Ready to clear your clutter and share your gifts with the world? Every Tuesday at 1 p.m., join award-winning professional organizer, author, and certified life coach Julie Coraccio on Clearing the Clutter Inside and Out as she teaches you how to navigate the waters to declutter your life. Julie Coraccio destroys the box and examines clutter in all areas: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, relationships, health, finances, and more.
Today's episode was inspired because if you have kids, you're going to have a lot of paperwork. You have a lot of paperwork if you're single or if you're married or you're just a person. With kids, you're probably also going to have a lot of art projects. If you don't keep on top of either of these, you could miss out on something important, such as making sure that permission slips are signed, and you could have a lot of art projects cluttering the house. I was a nanny for a couple of years and I'm still in touch with the family, and that's kind of nice. And I have some things that I've saved. They used to make me stuff all the time, and I pared it down. I still have a little folder with things that were really special to me. Not a ton. And the same with my nieces and nephew. They've done some things for me. They're a little bit older now, so that doesn't happen. But I've saved just some things that really meant a lot to me. I had a client a few years ago, and she had a really cool for her daughter's area where they could do homework and art. Great. If I was a kid, I would have loved this room. It was very awesome. Any rate, we're working on it. I'm working with the girls, and one of the girls was really angry at her mother. She said, "It's your fault. I didn't get school pictures because you didn't fill out the thing." And she was really upset. And I get that. As a kid, I'd be really bummed out. As we were decluttering, we found the order form and the check that her mother had written. The child had lost it. The room was decluttered, and the child just kind of wasn't on top of things. And so that was a really great aha moment for everyone. She had to own, we talked about responsibility, that her mom had filled it out and given it to her, and she had lost it. And she couldn't be angry at her mom anymore. And so that served as a motivation. Well, hey, we're going to declutter. It's okay. It happened. But we don't want it to happen in the future, right? We want to be able to get our school pictures, and served as motivation to declutter and get organized, and so that wouldn't happen again. I am a huge fan of involving kids in this process as well. They get to pick what means the most to them when it comes to art projects. They learn responsibility. They learn how to declutter and organize on a regular basis. I work with my nieces and nephew on this. I think I need to go up and do some more. It's been a while, a couple years since I've done something and they've moved. And I think they'd probably benefit from doing some decluttering and organizing. But these are skills that they are going to take throughout their life. I have worked with clients who have basements full of stuff because they haven't learned the skills. No one taught them how to let go of things. No one taught them how to organize it. And there's no right or wrong here. But these are valuable lessons that you can teach your kids that if they learn now, they will support them the rest of their lives. Is my paperwork organized? Establish one place, one home for your paperwork. If you have multiple places, you will lose things. You won't be able to find what you need when you need it, and it most likely will morph into clutter. Create a process for dealing with paperwork. For example, when I come in with the mail, I have a recycling bin right next to the door. So anything that's junk mail and doesn't need shredding is going to go right in the box. I don't even bring it in the home. I then have an area where I put my bills to be paid. If my husband has mail, I leave it for him. I take magazines to my bedroom. I have a process for dealing with paper. It's going to be different for everyone. You need to find a system that works for you. Always take the time to refile. That pile can easily grow. Take a few minutes at the end of the day, and if you have a busy week, take 10 minutes during the weekend before you've gone to Starbucks to get your coffee. Commit to decluttering and being organized and dealing with your paperwork. I did a section on filing for children. You might want to refer to that. It's important that you have a filing system set up. There are good tips there that you can listen to, but establish a system for filing. Make sure that you are maintaining. If we maintain everything and spend a few minutes each day or at the end of the week, then it doesn't become this huge project that needs to be tackled. What's most important is finding a way to organize your paperwork that works for you. Here are some suggestions. You can use an accordion file. I love these things. I have one that's portable. I keep our important paperwork in there. But as you can see, you can set up labels. So you could have sections for permission slips, classes, after-school activities. This particular one is great because it's portable. I'm a firm believer in doing what works best for you. I think it's absolutely okay to have something like a portable file to deal with your kids' schoolwork, and then at the end of the week, you file everything if it needs to move on to a more permanent file. Some people might disagree with that and think that that makes extra work. It's been my experience with many parents that there are things like permission slips, class lists that make sense to have easily accessible. So an accordion file is one option. You could also have a shelf with containers that you label with each child's name. You could repurpose a bookshelf and put containers with the kids' names. And for younger kids, put a picture. After school, when they come in, they can empty their backpacks, add their homework that you need to check into the container. If you need to add something to the calendar, do that and then return the checked homework to the container. You could also have a large clip that you put on the fridge, one clip per child. Children can place important papers that you need to review. When it's completed, return the paper to the backpack. You could also use a binder. You could use files. In another section I use this, I'm a fan of the incline filing system. This is what I have on my office desk. That way you could have a file for each child or for permission slips, homeroom, extracurricular, after school activities, permission slips, and with an incline, you can see everything, all 6 or 7 files that are labeled. So that's something that's really easy.
Do you keep saying you'll declutter, get organized, or pursue your dreams someday, but someday hasn't come? Learn how Julie Coraccio can support you at reawakenyourbrilliance.com.
I'm also a fan of having an action folder as well. You could have multiple mailboxes, such as what they use in office spaces that have boxes for different employees. I love those because you could label one permission slips. They're also great for creative projects, but that's something that you could use as well. 2 more examples that might help. If you're listening to this on the MP3, you can't see it, but I have a fun little folder here with coffee, simply labeled 1, 2, 3. That could correlate to your children, what's most important, if you want a thin folder to take around. I also have a weekly organizer with tabs for each day. What's most important is finding a system that works for you, your lifestyle and your habits, and being consistent and doing it. If you're not using it, then it's probably not the best system for you. If it works, you'll use it. Develop a daily routine with your mail by the shredder. I mentioned how before I even get in the door, the junk mail is recycled. I encourage you to try to get off as many lists as possible. Junk mail is never going to end though. So shred. Take the time to shred. Immediately place your bills where they need to go. Get into daily habits and routines. I also encourage you, especially if you read a lot of magazines or you get catalogs, replace the old catalogs when a new one arrives and recycle the old one, whether or not you've read it when a new one arrives. If you haven't read it in a month, if it's a monthly magazine or a weekly magazine, then you need to reconsider. Is this really a subscription you want? Is this something you're really interested in? If you're not making the time to read it, perhaps it isn't. Figure out where you can go paperless. One way to minimize clutter is to eliminate paperwork. Sign up for online banking and bill paying, saving your statements to the hard drive if you feel it's necessary. You can also use a computer to save scanned documents. Turn paper documents, such as receipts, bills, and statements, into digital files with a scanner. Definitely check in with your tax accountant about that. I still keep paper files. I have everything organized for the accountant because I just haven't become comfortable in having everything electronic. In what other ways could you go paperless? Could you get a catalog via email? Get a magazine that you can read on a Kindle? How will I organize paperwork? What system do I need to try? What do I need to think about what works best for me? What do I need to take in consideration for my lifestyle? Do I want something portable and then organize files at the end of the week? Is there any way I could go paperless? What are my options to do that? How do I keep my children's artwork and projects? First, be very, very mindful of what you are keeping. I suggest only one memory box per child. I encourage you to involve your child when they're younger, and when they're older, let them make decisions. Let the child choose what stays and goes. Something may be important to them that you don't realize. I encourage purging at the end of the semester, end of the school year. If you have an artistic child, consider rotating art displayed. If you're really challenged in letting things go, consider photographing pieces. Make sure that you keep it organized on the computer. Many times I talk with clients about honoring what they have. If something's been in a dusty box for 20 years and they're not honoring it, do they love it or do they really care about it? Here are some ways that you can display art for your children. A clothesline. Attach string, twine, or fishing line to the wall. You can mix and match artwork and hang pieces with clothespins. Art easels. You can showcase papers, artwork, cards, and photographs. Stand a piece of foam board or cork board and clip the art. You can use display rails. Attach to the wall and grip papers from the top. Easily remove artwork without damaging or tearing the paper. You can use frames. Get a bunch of cheap frames at a garage sale or Michael's and make a wall of art. You could use ledges that you could later use for items you'd like to display and mix and match art there. How about clipboards? I saw a really cool display where they had about 20 clipboards on the wall, all with different artwork that the child had done. It looked pretty cool. You could have a chalkboard or use chalkboard paint and have your child recreate something new every day, or hang artwork there. There are also lots of fun wall decals that you can purchase and display artwork. You could create a photo book or take pictures and create a digital photo book. With the archive, and that's ARTKIVE, you can make a book, capture electronically, organize, and celebrate your kids' creativity while honoring it and not creating clutter. How will I display my child's art? What would I like to try? How often will I purge art? How can I include my child in the process? Do I need to purchase anything to display art? Or would I prefer to try something digital or create a book? How will I get in the habit of going through the memory box and artwork on a regular basis? Take actions from today's podcast. Decide how you can best organize your kids' paperwork. Select where you can go paperless. Figure out where you could eliminate paper. Create a routine for going through paperwork. Choose what artworks you will keep. Involve your kids in purging and deciding what to keep. Decide how you would like to display artwork. Photograph any artwork you would like to release. Organize photos on your computer. Create a maintenance plan for kids' art. In our next episode, we're talking about feeling energy. Go out, clear the clutter to create the life you choose, deserve, and desire.
Ready to live a more joyful and fulfilling life? Sign up for our newsletter and receive a free copy of 10 Steps to Clearing Clutter Inside and Out. Learn more at reawakenyourbrilliance.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please rate and review Clearing the Clutter Inside and Out. See you next Tuesday at 1 p.m.